Howdy, 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 and welcome to the Red Dirt Aggie Show. I am pumped to be back here for another episode, and tonight we got exciting news on the Texas music scene. Also, going to give a take on the spring game for Aggie football, and a possible quarterback battle brewing in College Station. Of course, we got big news just coming out of there today for football, and a whole bunch of music news as well. For all your music and sports news, stay tuned to the Red Dirt Aggie Show. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed that intro, and we can thank Tyler for that. If you all remember Tyler, the Razorback, who is on over on podcast on the Spotify version of the show, he was on back when we played Arkansas in the Southwest Classic. Good friend of mine. You know, it's just unfortunate that he chose to go to the wrong school, but we'll give him a round of applause for making that beat for us. As it was pretty sweet. But we'll start tonight off with news in the world of music. The new album by our previous guest that we had on the show, the band known as the Weathered Souls, and their new album, it came out today, and it's got many great songs on it. Straight Texas rock and roll. It's in your face, and I absolutely love it. It gives me the classic rock vibes, and it has somewhat of a modern twist on it as well, but also gives you a southern feel too, like definitely that southern rock feel. And I love it, and you're gonna love it too. So don't wait, go check it out, get it wherever you get your music, buy it, download it, stream it, whatever you gotta do. But if these guys are playing a show anywhere near you, don't miss out. Do yourself a favor, buy a ticket, go check them out. They put on a great live show as well. They're high energy, and was just one of those bands that you need to go see in person as well. And other new releases. We had Parker McCollum recently came out with this new single off of his album, and the single's called "Tales I Lose." And really powerful song filled with emotion. If you've ever been stuck in a relationship and you feel like you just can't fix what's going on, no matter what you do, or you're in a situation, same thing, where you feel like you can't fix what's going on, you feel like nothing's in your favor, and you can't really win. You know, it's a lose-lose situation. Tails I Lose. It's a powerful song. You're gonna love it. Give it a listen. It's the song for you. A couple of cool announcements and more great news for live music, especially in College Station, coming up, which I'm sure many of our Aggie listeners will enjoy. But coming up in October, on October 21st to be exact, Zach Bryan along with Flatland Cavalry are going to be performing it near College Station over there in Snook, Texas, at the same location that Chili Fest is at in the spring. So maybe this will kind of be to test the waters. In the future, we could see more fall events out there, maybe get even something the size of Chili Fest out there in the fall. And I think that could be super exciting. I know they used to do a Harvest Maroon Festival over at Wolfpen Creek, which was usually there would be a good concert out there in the fall. I saw Turnpike and Flatland and Randy Rogers all together there one time, and that probably you probably couldn't get those three together for at the price that I paid to go to that show nowadays, with the growth and emergence of all of those bands. But it was a great show that night, and I really enjoyed getting the opportunity to do that. But again, moving forward, a band that we typically normally wouldn't discuss on the show, not because they lack talent by any measure, but simply just because they aren't typically the focus of the genre of music that we talk about on this podcast. Echo Smith, they're going to be playing a show at Berkshire Brothers in College Station, and While a grocery store may not be exactly where you think a concert would be, uh, this is a different story. The Brookshire Brothers in College Station, which if you haven't been to College Station in a while, it may sound extremely lame to be playing in a grocery store, but you have to understand that they have a thing called Stage 12, and it's essentially a whole modern bar out there with a stage, and it's not just a grocery store over there. It's a whole entertainment thing with a grocery store attached to it. And they kind of got a rivalry brewing with the HEB in town, how HEB has their pizza restaurant, and then you have Brookshire Brothers across town with their bar in there and a stage. So the war of the grocery stores at College Station, really, like anything else. And another big announcement, of course, Turnpike Troubadours, right? They're going to be releasing some new music for the first time in a long time. Coming soon, they'll be dropping a single called "Mean Old Son," and the single itself actually leaked on Touch Tunes the other day. Which, if you're not sure what Touch Tunes is, if you've ever been out to a bar, a lot of sports bars have them. Some restaurants have them. I've seen them at a Waffle House before as well. But TouchTunes is essentially a digital jukebox. A lot of times you can control it from your phone. You buy tokens and can play songs in certain restaurants around the country. And essentially, what happened was, I guess whoever was in charge of releasing it to TouchTunes made a mistake or something, or maybe leaked it. I don't know, but it was available on some TouchTunes machines before it was supposed to be, and some people played it and recorded small portions of it, and I have to say I did see those. It sounded like a pretty cool song. And then there's been little snippets, teased now on Turnpike's page as well. But definitely looking forward to new music from the Turnpike Troubadours. They are one of my all-time favorite bands, really out of anyone that I listen to. They're right up there. I'd say them and Whiskey Myers are probably two of my favorites, especially in the Texas or red dirt music scene. I'm aware that Turnpike, they're some Oklahoma boys, but they still fall and slot right into our Texas to our red dirt music scene as well, as they're just as big, if not bigger, in Texas than they are in Oklahoma. So that being said, going back to how we were saying, there's a war, there's a battle in College Station over these grocery stores. Well, we might have one at quarterback too, and we might have one at quarterback. I don't think we should, but we might. And spring football game, you got to remember it happened last weekend, and you may notice that both of those quarterbacks took a lot of snaps. And part of the reason is, well, there are two quarterbacks, but the other reason is the reason they got an equal amount of snaps. I think Jimbo is. Here's what I think is going on. I think Jimbo's trying to make Connor feel a little bit of pressure. I think Connor is still a guy, but Jimbo is definitely not letting him have that job. He's going to make him earn it. I really hope that Connor does end up winning the job. I think he's what would be best for the team. He hasn't named a starter. I don't think Max is a bad quarterback. I think he did well in limited action last year before getting hurt. The issue I have with playing Max over Connor is I don't believe Max has the same ceiling that Connor does. I think Max is a reliable player. I think you know what you're going to get from him, but I think he kind of tops out at a certain level where Connor gives you a little bit of an X factor. He's a little bit more mobile, and I think he has more room to grow. You might see a few. He might be a little more reckless in the beginning, but he, I think he has a higher ceiling. I think once he develops, he's going to end up being a better player than Max, and I think it's worth developing him and riding with Connor through that process rather than you don't start him. What happens if he's like, all right, I'll go somewhere I can play, next year. And I think Connor deserves to play, especially after the way last year went. He gets thrusted into the starting role through all those injuries. He finally gets his shot, and he comes in and he's immediately a spark. I remember especially him starting I believe it was the Ole Miss game that he started, and he played pretty well in that Ole Miss game, and despite the result of that game, he played really well in that game, and obviously, he makes some mistakes in some of those games, but he comes in at the end of the year and helps lead a massive upset against number five LSU, a top five team. We beat a top five team at the end of the year. We only had five total wins the entire year, and we beat a top five program to end the year with him at the helm. Say what you want, but the kid's a winner, and I mean he proved it at the end of last year. And I think you got to give him the starting job this year. I really hope that he is named the starter by Jimbo, and I think he's the best option moving forward at quarterback. I think it's excellent to have Max there though as as an option should we need him. And I don't think he's a bad quarterback, but I think Connor is the better option. And case in point, that's all I got on that. If you hear that thunder in the background, we got a little thunderstorm kicking outside. They kind of been flaring up tonight, so I do apologize for that. But as far as taking actual stock in anything we saw in that spring game, I don't think there's a whole lot, not a whole lot that you can take away. Um, so some players look pretty solid, but it's just hard to tell in a situation like this. They're not even playing on the full field because you got renovation going on in part of the stadium where they're putting in suites. You had only 46 scholarship players out there playing, so and some of the scholarship players that were out there playing don't even normally play, so it wasn't even necessarily all the starters that were available. And then some of the ones that were available, you had in no contact jerseys, meaning they weren't fully participating, but they were participating. It's hard to emulate a game in practice, no matter how hard you try to do it. It's hard to emulate a game safely in practice too. You want to keep your players from getting injured, which we did have a couple of guys get nicked up in that spring game. We have some guys that were nicked up in spring practice that didn't get to participate in the game. So I think really it's going to be a different team come fall. Everyone's going to heal up, and so it's going to be a little bit different look than what we saw in that spring game for sure. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing for sure. But moving forward, I think it's going to be a good thing for us. And I think the big takeaway that we can take away is Jimbo is impressed with the way that the younger players are buying in and practicing this year. And those that didn't leave last year are supposedly having much better attitudes in the program, is what we're hearing out of College Station. And in my opinion, it's not always the worst to have some guys transfer out of a program that aren't a good fit. And that's exactly what happened at the end of last year. We had some guys that, yeah, they were top level recruits, but they just didn't work out. They never played much. They were getting in trouble off the field. A lot of these guys that left, and they needed a fresh start, and so did A&M without them. And so it could be good for both parties in a situation like that. And kind of the guys that stay behind, they grow closer together and go stronger through it. And speaking of transferring in that transfer portal, earlier we got some big news out of College Station. It was reported that Texas A&M landed the number one linebacker out there in the transfer portal. And I apologize if I don't say his name correctly. Juriente Davis. He played under Coach Prime at Jackson State. Was a solid player there. And I did hear some things saying that Prime wanted him to go to Colorado, but we were able to steal him away and bring him here. So that's huge. Um, and absolutely awesome that we were able to fill a need like that, particularly with such a talented player. And now, pivoting from away from sports a little bit, but definitely staying with A&M, I want to take the time to remind all of our Aggie listeners that Friday, April 21st, is Aggie Muster. If you're near College Station, I encourage you to head out to Reed Arena. Campus muster is the largest one of all the musters. But if not, I encourage you to try to find your nearest or local muster location and go if you're able to, or at least watch the live stream that the university will be doing. And for those of you who are non-Aggies or may not know the tradition, the significance behind the tradition, I pulled an excerpt off of the Aggie Texas A&M website just to tell you a little bit about muster. And here's what it says. It says that muster is the Texas A&M tradition that forever unites the Aggies past with the Aggies present. It is Texas A&M's most solemn and most visible tradition. Muster was first held on June 26, 1883, when former students of Texas A&M gathered together to live over again our college days, the victories and defeats won and lost upon drill ground and classroom. Let every alumnus answer a roll call. No matter where Aggies are, whether it is as few as 2 or as many as the thousands who gather on the university's campus, they come together each April 21st for muster. Muster traces its roots back to San Jacinto Day, a Texas holiday that celebrates the state's defeat of the Mexican Army in the Battle of San Jacinto. As part of the celebration in the 1890s, the Corps of Cadets was invited to play the Mexican Army in the reenactment of the battle for the Texas independence. The State Guard played the Texans. However, since Aggies cannot stand to lose, the Aggies rewrote history and continually won the battles. In 1897, the cadets were no longer invited to participate in the reenactment. But in 1899, the cadets then decided to continue the celebrations on campus and held a San Jacinto Field Day on April 21st. During the World Wars, this tradition of meeting on April 21st evolved to include a memoriam for those who were absent. In World War I, Aggies met all over the trenches of Europe and at army posts all over America. The most famous Aggie Muster, though, was held during World War II in 1942 on the small island of Corregidor in the Philippines. Major General Moore, class of 1908, led a group of recently commissioned Aggies in a moment to honor the valiant Aggies who had died, hold a yell practice, and sing the war hymn with all their strength, all under heavy enemy fire. The first campus muster was held in Guion Hall in 1924, and muster has been held on campus since. Campus muster is an all-day affair that starts with a flag-raising ceremony at sunrise. The 50-year reunion class is invited back to campus for a camaraderie barbecue, where they share old Aggie war stories, and current students tell new Aggie war stories. At each muster ceremony around the world, a speaker addresses the crowd before the roll call for the absent. Names of those from that area who have died in the past year will be read. And as each name is called, a family member or friend or anyone who knew them will answer here to show the Aggie is present in spirit. Then a candle will be lit. Following the ceremony on campus in Reed Arena, the largest muster in the world, a rifle volley is fired and a special arrangement of taps is played. This is just one of the many things that makes Texas A&M special. So as you take a moment to reflect on that, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to or to watch the Red Dirt Aggie Show. Be sure to follow us on social media. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe so you don't miss out on great upcoming content. Leave comments in below the video. Reach out to us on social media. Subscribe. We'd love to hear your feedback. As always, gig 'em and God bless. And we'll see you next time.